Welcome back to the show, and this is a relax radio with none other than Nick, keeping you guys company all the way until 4 p.m., giving you nothing but the best in conversation. So, yeah, taking a look of what we were talking about earlier, we were talking about a lot of things, like for one, Boris Johnson is getting the vaccine. That's right, the Prime Minister of the UK is getting the AstraZeneca vaccine for the first time, and he just wants to reassure the public that it is safe. So yeah, Boris Johnson, who is 56, has urged people to get inoculated and said England's roadmap out of lockdown was on track. They're still going on track. They're planning to continue it all the way until April 12th before everything goes back to normal. That is the total plan right now. So yeah, he said that there was no change to the plan despite a drop in the vaccine supply. So yeah, there was a recent drop recently because mostly it has to do with shipments that are coming late into the country after between India and the UK. There's been issues going on right now that the vaccines did not reach on time as of yet. The plan is for the vaccines to be here before by the end of May to mid-April. So yeah, so apparently several European countries are to be resuming using the AstraZeneca jab after the European Medicines Agency, the EMA, confirmed it was safe and effective. So yeah, the regulator reviewed the vaccine amid fears about blood clots. So, but he said that it was not, associated with a higher risk, and the benefits outweighed any kind of risk. So yeah, Mr. Johnson told a Downing Street conference on Thursday that the AstraZeneca jab was safe, but the thing that isn't safe is catching COVID, which is why it is so important that we get all our jabs as soon as our turn comes. So yeah, he's trying to reassure the public right now and tell them, hey, you guys, listen, you shouldn't be waiting to be getting your vaccine. The moment your turn comes, make sure you go out and do what is right. So yeah, that is what they're talking about, and he also said the prime minister was, treating himself in the hospital for COVID-19 in April 2020. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was during the first wave of the pandemic. So yeah, he said back then that the way to ensure his this lockdown easing happens is to get the jab when your turn comes. So let's get the jab done already. So yeah, Professor Christy Whitty, of the chief medical officer for England, say that there was anecdotal reports of small numbers of people not turning up for vaccine appointments following the controversy over the AstraZeneca jab in Europe. So yeah, people are basically hesitant, and the public's confidence in taking the vaccine right now is not 100%. It's rather it is being shook to the moment to its core because of the recent pausing of the vaccine and the recent pause in the rollout of the vaccine across the EU and the UK. People are just afraid right now of getting the jab. But Boris Johnson wants to make sure, that people don't be afraid. Hey, you guys, I'm taking the vaccine as well, so you might as well be taking it as well. So yeah, he also said though that he expected many of those who would decide to get the jab after a pause for thought, adding that COVID was still a very dangerous disease. So yeah, people are dying. People are getting significant blood clotting problems. That's one of the risks of COVID. People having long-term physical and mental effects from the COVID-19 virus. So yeah, Mr. Johnson said that England's progress towards leaving restrictions on daily life was unchecked by vaccine supply issues, where fewer doses have arrived from India than initially expected. Like I said, there were issues like, they were expecting a bigger dose of vaccines coming down from India to the UK, but then that didn't really happen. India said that they've delivered their quota, but then the UK is like, okay, there's been some issues. They've not received it. Mostly, I'm guessing it's because mostly got to do with the border checks right now. So yeah, there were often delays with the vaccine rollout programs, he said, and he stressed that the Indian pro-government had not stopped any exports. So Professor Neil Ferguson from the Imperial College of London said that while the delay was disappointing, he did not think it would have an enormous effect on the rollout. However, he warned the UK, that they needed to keep their eyes out for the variant, and they have to be concerned. Like, although we do get the vaccine, although we are going to get the vaccine, and the rollout of the vaccine is going to happen anytime soon. They're going to bring down at least 100, hundreds and thousands of these vaccines. We got to remember that there are variants outside. There are variant of the COVID-19. COVID-19. So you guys still have to make sure you follow the proper precautions, the proper procedure, and avoid, make sure you keep social distancing and all that. Maintain that social distancing. If you got a cough or sneeze, make sure you cough in between, your elbow gaps, stuff like that. You should still practice all of that. Make sure you guys wash your hands, sanitize your hands. So yeah, Professor Ferguson, who is also, a member of the government's SPM modeling group, told that there should be particular concern about cases being imported from France where infection levels are still on the rise. So yeah, he added that at least 5 to 10% of cases in France were the South African variant, which is of concern because it could be more resistant to the current vaccine. So yeah, he's trying to address the issue that, like, hey, our neighbors France might be having it worse than us right now because they have a variant of the coronavirus, and it's very difficult for the vaccines that are currently developed to fight back. That's what he's trying to tell us right now. That's what he's saying. Like, the South African variant is resistant to the current vaccines that we are producing. But however, though, Professor Ferguson suggested that adding France to the red list of countries from which arrivals are required to quarantine in a hotel would not be practical, given that, the amount of essential trade between the UK and France. So instead, he gave a better arrangement to mitigate the risks, perhaps include testing of arrivals, and all that would be needed. So yeah, basically, the government and all of these are telling us, to wake up. This is just a wake up call for all of us. And we have to have a regular review of the vaccine and the system that's going on right now. So yeah, the European medical regulator had reviewed the AstraZeneca jab after 13 countries in Europe suspended its use over fears about blood clots in a very similar number of patients. So France, Germany, and Italy, along with Cyprus, Latvia, and Lithuania, are to resume the use of the jab on Friday, so which is going to be happening. So yeah, while Spain, Portugal, and the Netherlands will do so by next week. However, Norway, Sweden, and Denmark said that they will continue to cause the use of the AstraZeneca vaccine, while they conduct their own independent review. So a bunch of these other countries, or a bunch of the European countries, are like, okay, we're going to take the vaccine. We're all going to continue it. It looks safe. It looks like it's safe because there's no blood clot linking whatsoever. But but there are still countries like I mentioned earlier, Norway, Sweden, and Denmark, who said that, you know what, guys, even if you guys are 100% sure, we are not. So we're going to wait until everything looks like it's all right, until we do our own independent review of the vaccine. And that is actually a smart thing for them to be doing, especially right now. We need it to be happening, especially in a crisis right now where the pandemic is not a joke. It's not a joke at all. So they see they understand the gravity of the situation. They're telling us, hey, we could give the vaccine, but then what if there is a possibility that there's still going to be any side effects? So yeah, we're going to conduct our own independent review of this vaccine. So yeah, like the UK, though, UK's counterpart, French Prime Minister Mr. Jean Castex, also received the AstraZeneca vaccine in an effort to sway the doubtful people of France. So yeah, the Prime Minister of France also took his jab, just to sway the public and tell them, hey, it's safe. You guys can still take it, because they made sure, they made sure that they've done their review, they've done their homework, and they're telling us, hey, you can still take it. But not a lot of people are actually taking it. The faith of the community, especially in the vaccine, has shaken because of the recent pausing of not taking the vaccine, of the recent pausing in a lot of these countries, and the review and the possibility of side effects. So that's just something that, I'm just touching up on. But, if you guys better make sure you maintain that social distancing, sanitize your hands, make sure you practice all the necessary precautions to avoid any kind of incident, because what better way to protect yourself than prevent it? I mean, you can take the vaccine. Yes, that's true. That's fine. But at the same time, I think even if you take the vaccine, there are still going to be variants that is going to be resistant to these vaccines. So that doesn't mean just because you got your jabs right now, it means 100% everything is all right. It's not yet all right. You guys better make sure you stay at home as much as possible. Try not to make too much of an interaction with people around you. Try to keep to yourself until this whole situation gets back to normal by April the 12th of April. So yeah, and with that being said, though, I've said enough. I've said more. I've said a lot, and we got to step into some more music. So make sure you guys tune in. And my name is Nick, and I'm keeping you company on Real Talk.